Hi everyone, thought I would recap on the breadcrumbs challenge and have a look at my last year's book and start on my larger canvas. So we did day 1, day 2, day 3 and then the little ripped bit. So this was 3A. Day 4 was using the corrugated cardboard. And day 5, a little bit of everything. And I guess this was what I wanted to draw from, because this was, by the end of the week, the pool of ideas came onto this one. Now, I've also photocopied, I've got a photocopy of each page, so I've got collage material as well. Last year's little book that I spiral bound and just handmade, I've got my compass here, and you know, there's a lot more writing that I did last year than I did this year. There's a couple of other classes I did in this journal that have actually, some of these have created much, I've got larger works downstairs of those. Just doing classes with different people really gives you an idea of different things to do. So they were really wonderful. The main thing, I haven't got each day, but my Finding True North, this was the end result. So this is actually just a photo and then a printout of a much larger work that's also downstairs. That is one of my favourite pieces I've done to date, I think. So it just goes to show you can do one of these little workshops. And I love my little wonky girl. You do these little workshops and you come up with stuff. Maybe I don't particularly like this. However, it's still learning techniques and having a bit of a play. Oh, that's right. I did a postcard challenge with Marguerite Miller. Did a little bit of work with Francisca Nooms. How do I call her Francesca? And even something about emotion in your work. So I love this collage that I made. I didn't particularly like this one, but that doesn't matter. It was a day where I was writing my feelings and I was doing a face, and that's not the point. The point is being creative, getting yourself on paper or on paint and canvas or sculpting, whatever works, and learning some ideas. So I just thought I'd have a little look back through that and share that. So I think I'm going to do the collage elements first so that they have a time to be put down and dried rather than paint, and the paint takes longer to dry. I think by the end of the week my favourites were both of these. So I'm just going to prop them up where I can look at them and have a little bit of inspiration. Definitely want to use some of this corrugated feel. I haven't got a real, well, I guess the palette won't change too much. It's just going to be a larger version, but I'm not really, no, I'm not changing the palette. these down first. So I'm still using this impasto gel medium. Quite like it, even though it had a little bit more gloss than I was sort of wanting or hoping for. But that's what I bought, and that's what I'm going to use. Waste not, want not, and there's a use for everything. So this is my first bit of the process. I also I was using the acrylic paints. It's look, you can do anything with anything. These little acrylic paints were gifted to me, so there's no money. These brushes are $2 shop for pasting. Just, it's an old jam jar for a bit of, you know, for your water. You don't really need to have all the most expensive things. So, because I mean, a lot of what I'm doing is about recycling. So it's nothing, you know, nothing new, nothing you can't find somewhere. Really like a bit of this green. So I'm going to add a bit more of that. After I shut my glue, I will reopen it. Put a bit more down. Always loved collage. I don't know why, just really enjoy making and remaking. Do I want it that way? Even this, where that bit of paper there got caught and stuck there, just love it. Always something to do. And these were just scanned and photocopied. So that's another method of collage paper. I'm going to dry this off and then get some painting on. Alright, let's try. It's got a slight tack to it, but it's okay. Okay, so I'll just get a new palette. I want to do relatively, right, so I like this. So I want to do relatively decent coverages. So this is gifted, so I'm not going to be too. I'm not going to be too worried about using them up quickly. Now that is, now on this one, that's the straight colour. But I think I just wanted a little, because here on the photocopy, it's a lot redder. So I might just put a little bit of this crimson, darken it up a bit. Not if I can't get any out, okay? Might make them into watercolours. Oh, the lid doesn't fit on properly, that's why. Right, I'll just add a touch of brown, just just to, no, maybe not that much, just to bring it down a bit. So I think I might come up over here, and then I will just while I'm at it, I'll do the sides while I've got the colour. So, I don't know, it's hard to put it on camera. Okay, so I'll dry that off and come back for a bit more. One of the other things that can happen, I can start pasting down the collage elements one way, but then as I work and I turn it, it can completely change directions. So I'll be back when that's dry. Now what I'm thinking is I'm really liking this yellow through here, and I'm thinking I want to enhance that a bit. I don't recall ever blending it down, so I'm just going to put it on. Put it on the canvas. Look at this brownie orange, what's it called? Yellow ochre. There you are, that's yellow ochre. Brownie orange, that's my name for it. So from this perspective, you don't even need to have a palette. But these little palettes are from the $2 shop. They don't cost very much at all. So you can do these things. Quite easily. Now I really like this little bit here, so I don't want to cover it up too much. But the other colours I used were this light blue. This one is coming out, running out. And a bit of this darker blue. Right, so I can hear some people saying, why would you put it on there? Maybe you lose control of it, but I know that this is kind of the start of a background. It's not the end result, so it's okay. even though those little ones were very quick, I want to build up lots of layers on this. Get some colour down the sides. And then actually start to play a little bit. So I want maybe a bit of a scratcher tool. Show a bit through that red through there. This blue is turning out to be a little bit translucent, so I might want to do something about that. Just dry brush a bit of a colour over here. Get them on the top, just to blend it. Now I'm going to dry it off with a hairdryer so I can keep working while I'm in the mood. Now that I've got that a bit dry, I've found my, I've got my clear gesso. So clear gesso is not really going to make any texture, which is what I just thought I'd like to do, but I'm going to colour it. We do have some green in here, so I did use a bit of the dark green. That's a bit thicker. Now the gesso will actually add a sandpapery like grit, so it'll be good for building up on. And this gesso dries clear as well. Let's start to pull these back a little bit. A bit more yellow. So now I've got to dry another layer. It's so easy to get carried away. Loving it though. Now, I talked a bit at the start of the breadcrumb challenge of how my goal was colour, line, and to not get too cluttered. But as we saw, as the time went on, it just got actually it got cluttered, but it got creative. It got, there's more life in it by the end because I'd started sparse. So I'm looking at this now and going, well, how do I get life into this? How do I bring it to not be murky? You know, these are the questions. I really love this one. And what I think I'm doing is going now to the mark making on top of this. That's really where we're at. So I'm going to dry this again. I'm going to fully dry it actually, I think. I'll give it a really good bit of time. I'll go and have some lunch, give it a bit of a good time frame to dry off, and then I can come back to it fresh. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so I have done a bit off camera and I've added the corrugated cardboard. And what I've added, I found this little map of England from years and years ago when I've had my very first visit there. And I've just cut out the word Somerset because the Somerset Taunton area is where my family is from. I was born in London, but the rest of the family are all from around that area. And just going to do a little bit of mark making that kind of brings it in. So the reason that I added this little bit of road map, or map, was because on day 2, was it day 2? Yes, day 2 we were talking about what makes you really happy, what lights you up, and I love to travel. And the very first place I travelled, that wasn't organised by someone else, it was just something that I wanted to do. I went to England to visit all the rallies because I came out to Australia when I was 2 years old. So there's a whole side of relatives that I had never met, a whole heap of them. So travel is a happy place for me, so that's what I added on day 2. And this made it even more relatable, I guess, by having actually the place that my family were all born and grew up. I've put on the impasto gel medium over the whole lot and around and dried it. It's still a bit wet around the corrugated. But now I'm just going back in and enhancing some of the mark making from before. So the way a piece grows, there was an idea about travel, and I put my latest travels in the day 2, but in the end I just saw a bit of paper and went, well, what about that big travel that my parents did, coming all the way to Australia with a little 2-year-old and a little baby to start a whole new life. It's pretty big adventure. Take a bit of this off. So got a bit of the Whisper Green, which was the actual base under everything, and I just want to flick a bit of it on Just, you can't really see that that's the base under there really anymore, but I know it's there. So there's a few more lighter areas with the Whisper Green and this bit of white. Just having a look at it. Know that I want any more on there. Always at risk of going a bit too far. All right, I actually think, I'm just thinking of more and more things to add to it, but I think that for now I'm going to leave it and that's where it's at. I'm going to put it up on the wall, look at it for a while, maybe something will pop out that I need to address. I still feel it's a little bit muddy and murky, but I still like it. I love it, you know, it's not a problem to me. It's got my collage, it's got my mark making, it's got colours, I've had fun, and so maybe you're inspired. I hope you're inspired. So that's it for me for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.